Hey, welcome to FreightWaves Now Tuesday edition style. I'm Chad Prevost.
And I'm Emily Zink. Carriers and brokers, we are talking to you.
Kyle Cunningham back again with your carrier update on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for joining me. Today, let's take a look at the Fort Worth market and the Augusta, Maine market. Now, we're going to look at the head haul index for both of these markets. The head haul index has taken the outbound tender volume and the inbound tender volume and come up with a sum. Now, once we see this number, we're going to know exactly who's in control in regards to the outbound freight in that market. First, let's take a look at Fort Worth. As we look at Fort Worth, we can see there's been a huge increase overnight. Now, what does this mean? If you're in Texas, Fort Worth might be a market that you want to take a look at. If we take another look, a closer look at the outbound rejections for Fort Worth, that little red line there, we can see it just trending up quite a bit. If you're stuck in Lubbock or you're possibly stuck in Austin, Texas, Fort Worth might be your go-to. Let's look at Augusta, Maine. If we take a look at the head haul index in Augusta, Maine, we can see over the last few days it's pretty much gone crazy. A lot of outbound freight, which means a lot of optionality. Now, it's still a negative in the head haul index, but that doesn't mean all bad things. In terms of outbound rejections for the entire market, we can see that Augusta is at 10%, but the really important part are those mid-haul rejections. So those around 300 to 500 mile runs out of Maine at 21-ish%, you're gonna get the absolute best optionality. Now, as always, if you're running these roads, stay safe and point them straight, and I'll see you next time.
Donnie Gilbert here, bringing you our reefer tender rejection index map. Our index rejection rate correlates a lot with the spot market rates. So as you see a deeper blue in this map, that means as the rejection rates increase, normally the rates in the spot market are increasing. I want to bring you today and kind of look at the different markets and see what's going on in the different markets. Starting with the Northeast, you see there's a lot of white in this market, and that's because it's been a very mute market so far this year. Rejection rates have stayed pretty well below 5.5% all year long. So reefer carriers have struggled a lot in this market. Dropping down to the southeast, we see there's a lot of blue in South Georgia and Northern Florida. Right now, reefer tender rejection rates are over 50%. So this is a very hot market, a market that your reefer carriers want to be in right now. As we move over to the heartland, you see around Arkansas up to Iowa, you see a lot more dark blues, and we have rejection rates that are almost 70% in Arkansas right now. So another area that's been very strong, there's a lot of poultry that moves out of this area. And as we get into the closer to the 4th of July, these rejection rates are on the rise. Over here above me in the west is Salt Lake City, Utah, all the way up through Oregon and Washington. Again, this is another area where rejection rates are on the rise, anywhere between 30 and 40% rejection rate. So right now, if you're a broker, you really need to watch and move these carriers from areas that are in the white and run them to the blues, because that's where they're going to find the most volatile freight to get the best rate per mile.
As always, great information. You're watching on YouTube, but of course, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And we come to you each and every business day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned, and in the meantime, don't worry, be happy.